So here with homework 24, we've got some square rooting stuff going on here. And so we're going to get right to it. We've got square root of -8 squared. And so we can think of this radical symbol, the square root symbol, as a grouping symbol, just like parentheses. And so just like order of operations, we need to do what's inside the radical symbol first. And so what this really ends up being is the square root. And if you remember, a negative inside the parentheses like that means that we have -8 times -8, which makes positive 64. And so the square root of 64 is positive or -8. And the next one, we're going to have the same thing. We will really have a -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. And so 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And because there's an even number of negative signs, it's positive 16. So we get square root of 16, which is 4. Okay. Next, we need to remember a couple rules about exponents, and that is that if we multiply exponents, like v to the third times v to the third, we add them and get v to the sixth. So in reverse of that, by taking the square root, we're going to divide by 2. And so what we've got here is very simply v to the 12th, v divided by 2 is going to be v to the 6th, because v to the 6th times v to the 6th is equal to v to the 12th. Again, because when we multiply things that have exponents, we add the exponents. And so doing the reverse of that, we divide the exponents. We subtract, the exponents. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I'll clean up my work here. I was just doing this work ahead of time so that I knew what I would make sure I knew what I was doing. And so we've got 4y to the 12th. And what we need to do is treat the number and the variable separately in this case. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of y to the 12th, we're looking for something times itself that would make y to the 12th, and that is y to the 6th, because 2y to the 6th times 2y to the 6th is equal to 2 times 2 makes 4, and y to the 6th times y to the 6th, we add the exponents, we get y to the 12th. Next, we have square root of z to the 6th. So again, very simply, z to the power of 3, because z to the power of 3 times z to the power of 3 is equal to z to the power of 6. Alrighty, on to the next piece. We have x to the 6th, because x to the 6th times x to the 6th equals x to the 12th. Okay, and that's it for this page. These are pretty quick. Just a couple rules to memorize. I'm not a big fan of memorizing rules, but they're helpful in this case. And I'm gonna clear my work here from when I was doing it for practice a minute ago. And so, what we've got is the cubed root of 8. And so we're looking for a number times a number times another number that equals 8. So that number happens to be 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. Okay, number 6. We've got the cubed root of -27. Now remember, a negative can be in there in this instance because we will be having 3 numbers multiplied together. And so like a -x times a -x times a -x will make negative x cubed, because there's an odd number of negative signs there. So what we need is to recognize that 3 is the number, because 3 times 3 makes 9. and 3 times 9 makes 27, and it's negative 3 because negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is going to make a negative answer because we have an odd number of negative signs, and 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Next, what we're looking for is a number that would end in a negative number if we multiplied things together. So let's play with signs a little bit. And see if we can, using 4 numbers, because it's the 4th root, we need 4 factors or 4 things being multiplied. Is there a way to get negative 16 out of this? And remember, they all have to be the same. So we can't have like one of these negative and the other one positive. They all have to be positive. And if I multiply 4 positive numbers, I get a positive answer. So that doesn't work. Let's see what happens if I use negative numbers. If I multiply all negative numbers, I would get a positive answer. And so negative x times negative x times negative x times negative x also doesn't work. Nothing works. So the answer is no. What the heck does Alex say? I'm going to look really quick exactly what their wording is, so I know that we get it right for you. So the wording that Alex is going to use in this instance is going to be not a real number. And so, incidentally, both of these do have a solution. The one we're working on in the homework here, though, there is no number that could possibly make negative 16 if it's multiplied by itself 4 times. So in Alex, you would click the button that says not a real number. And so for us, we will say not a real number. Now, because we have worked with imaginary numbers before, I'm going to go ahead and solve this. And what that would actually be, I know that this number right here multiplied by itself 4 times to get 16 is 2. And then we would have, what would be left inside is the square root of negative 1. And so we could say 2i as a solution for this. Again, that's not what Alex is going to be looking for here. Alex is going to be looking for you to click the not a real number button right there. And I can't remember if that's the last one. Of course it's not. Okay. This homework and the next one are kind of long, not super difficult, just on the longer side. And so what we've got here, we need to recognize that if we're trying to do this with fractions, we can do the numerator separate from the denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this as the cube root of 64 over the cube root of 27. And the cube root of 64, if you just think 3 times tables, is going to be 4, because 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. And the cube root of 27 is going to be 3, because 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So again, there, realizing that we can treat the numerator and denominator separate is very helpful. And then lastly, we've got the 4th root of 81 u to the 16th. And so the 4th root of 81, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So that's going to be a 3. And then we've got to deal with u to the 16th. So we need to break u to the 16th into 4u to the somethings being multiplied by each other 4 times. And remember, when we multiply things with exponents, we add the exponent. And so I need to end up with u to the 16th. And so I need to divide 16 into 4 parts. That makes u to the 4th. 4, 8, 12, 16. So 3u to the 4th is what our final answer is going to be. And there's a bit of an explanation there on the right as to why. So that being said, I believe number 8 is the last one. I hope this is helpful, everyone. It is the last one. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have an awesome